What's a knockout like you doing in a computer-generated gin joint like this?
Waiting for you.
Waiting for me? You can't be serious.
Oh, yes, Will. I've never been more serious in my life.
Set a course for love.
Ah, yes. One of your Earth emotions.
Glad I found you.
Let's get married.
Delete the wife.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Deep Space Love, the Star Trek podcast, where a married Trekkie couple explore love in all its forms throughout the final frontier. I'm Nicole, one of your hosts, and with me
is one of your other hosts, Joe. Hi.
You're the only other host.
How's it going?
Joe. It's good.
Is it good?
It's been better, actually. But, tonight it's great because we're going to talk Trek.
Love talking Trek.
And I'm going to immediately bring our guest in. We've got another person joining us today on the podcast. For those of you who do not know, Diana Keng is a writer and critic with Geek Girl Authority. Her Trek-related writing can be found in the archives at TV Fanatic and over at Women at Warp, where she also appeared on their recent episode discussing Star Trek Prodigy Season 2. Welcome, Diana.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada. So although we feel the repercussions of the recent events, we kind of feel separate but affected.
There's a layer of insulation there. That's kind of nice, right?
Yeah, there is. Although we feel also, some of us, that we're looking at our own future. We have some right-wing politicians on this side of the border who, it's a very un-Trek-like future.
Yeah, it's
That's
been
a good way to put that. Yeah.
It's been rough, and I have to say though that the episodes that you kind of sent our way to watch for this podcast though have been a truly welcome reprieve. Like I was just saying to Nicole, like just like seeing the zoom in shots of the Enterprise D's like beige carpet was like a warm embrace.
I was keen when I rewatched it too. The babyface Riker was just so much fun.
My gosh, that was a lot to take in.
It was great.
Oh yes, our guest questions. I got like so distracted for like a half a second there.
No
I think Joe sent you. We just have a couple guest questions for people's first time on the pod, for just to kind of get a sense of like your history with Trek and just where you're coming from. So first, we like to start out with, why do you love Trek, since we're a podcast about love?
Trek is aspirational. It is what we could be, given time, given room and space, to be wise and become wise. So I love Trek for all the aspects that we're not perfect, and even Trek isn't perfect, but it's always improving. It's a hopeful future, and I like that for it and for us.
Yeah, I love that answer. So how about your home base crew or like show? I mean, I kind of like to word it different ways, kind of however you want to interpret it, whether it's just like the show where you just like put on for comfort food, or maybe it's just like the first Trek show you saw. It was almost a tongue twister there.
Yeah. I'm a next generation, and so I grew up watching it. It was formational in a lot of my ideas about space sci-fi. The characters. I think it was one of the first shows where you pick a favorite character, or you know them. You could write fan fiction about them. You could write their diary. You could take sides on it, right? Pulaski versus Crusher. There were just aspects of it that were integrated into my experience growing up. And obviously there were certain episodes that made real impressions on me. We did a rewatch of the entire 7 seasons of Next Gen at one point, and we went through the whole thing. And there's some, when they have 20 plus episode seasons, there's room for dropping off a couple. the
For
also
sure.
rans. But overall, I still enjoyed it. My favorite episodes were still my favorite episodes. I still won't watch Violations again, just for everything about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, they were part of my they were my crew. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that. And then the last question is also kind of, I'd like to leave the questions a little bit open-ended, or up to interpretation. But if you could go on a date with any Star Trek character, and it can be either like a friendly coffee date, or if there's someone you're like, yeah, I'd love to go on like a romantic dinner date with like this character, like however you want to interpret it, just if you could hang out with someone.
So, okay, I'm going to do this in parts. So, the kid growing up watching the show would have died to hang out and have pizza with Wesley Crusher.
Yes.
I was a bright kid. And so a lot of the stuff he was going through kind of resonated with me going through that. And I never understood the like vitriol that he took come from some of the watchers,
Mhm.
And then probably like the more hormonal me would want Babyface Riker was up there. It was definitely up there on my list. Nowadays, if I was to want to go out and just have a nice dinner or something, I'd really like to meet Book from Discovery.
Yes.
I think he'd have interesting stories. I think there'd be a lot to talk about. I think he'd pick a really good restaurant, or let me pick a really good restaurant. So
It would be exciting.
yeah.
I loved that answer. I feel like everyone answers these questions different, and I'm always amazed by like kind of a new take on them. I don't think we've had kind of like a 3-level, like kid me, the like hormonal version of me, and then like the adult version of me, like the chilled out adult version of
I
me.
like
I
it.
loved that.
Yeah.
I think it's how you approach it. It's a show that sticks with you over stages in your life.
Yes.
And all the different flavors of Star Trek that we've gotten. I mean, I think part of me thinks I work with a Boimler most of the time. So yeah, it's you the weirdly enough, slightly, you can cut this out if you don't want to play it. But when I started watching When Harry Met Sally at different stages in my life, and it actually different characters and they speak to you depending on whether you just got married or you just had kids or you're kind of settling in to whatever. It's different things appeal to you. It's kind of it was quite surprising to me how many facets that movie had. So yeah. Oh, and the other thing with Crusher versus Pulaski, on our rewatch, I didn't hate her.
Oh,
Pulaski, that is.
right. Yeah.
I have actually defended her since then to friends who had started watching it with their kids, and they thought about completely skipping the Pulaski season.
Wow.
And I said, no, she is the only one who takes Data at his word. When he says who he is, she believes it, and she treats him thus. Everyone else projects humanity onto him.
Yeah. That's a fascinating way to look at it.
Wow.
I like
Could do an
that.
episode on that. Jeez.
I know, right? I would agree though. Like I feel like that when we rewatched, or at least when I watched it as a kid, I did not realize that there was this hate for Pulaski. I kind of learned that growing up, but like, I don't know. I think she's fine. I liked. I don't mind her either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was actually a better doctor than Crusher, like
Ooh.
medically speaking and patient wise and conflict of interest wise. She was an innate person. She was a professional.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and that could be it there, kind of a no nonsense, like professionally minded woman definitely can. Oh man, that's a whole lot to unpack.
You're just like planning future episodes now.
It's a good conversation to have.
For
It
sure.
is, yeah. Oh man, it's the Trek well is endless.
It really is. I know
Yeah.
we just got a bit diverted. Well, thank you for answering those,
Yes.
Diana. I loved all those answers. That was great. Before we continue into the episodes of the hour, Joe, do you want to do a quick check?
Oh sure, I do want to do a quick Trek check. I always say it
You
wrong.
did do it.
A couple interesting things just in the news of Star Trek right now. We did get an announcement that Section 31 movie will be dropping on January 24th, 2025. So that's coming real soon. Kind of exciting. We are currently in the midst of season 5, the final season of Lower Decks. Also very exciting. We've only watched the first
tears.
2 so far. We're kind of saving them for chunks, but really fun, strong debut so far. I've been enjoying it. Diana, you been watching?
Mm-hmm. And it was actually, I think it's episode 3 that Mariner and Jen actually was why I thought of them again.
Oh yes, I do. I did see a preview of that too. So I was thinking that Mariner and Jen might have to be a future DS Love Pod.
Like very near future.
Very near future, yeah. My other piece of news is kind of on a sad front. We did get the news that Jerry Taylor passed away. Known for writing many TNG episodes, co-creating Voyager on October 24th, so pretty recent. So that was bummer news to hear, but she is very influential in the world of Star Trek.
Yeah, I've seen that name so many times.
Absolutely. Last piece, though, that I think is kind of a fun piece of news. Scientists, I don't know if either of you heard of this, discovered 7 new species of frogs in Madagascar. You did hear of this. I love that. And they have high-pitched calls that the scientists say are like the sound effects from Star Trek. And
really?
Yeah, apparently
I didn't hear this. So
the calls, one of the calls is like the boatswain whistle, like the kind of thing. And then
not too bad.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And another one sounds like the tricorder. So
really?
Yeah. I have the link to the article. I will put it in our show notes.
Does it have
And tell her about the names.
Oh, I don't know if I have them. Okay, give me the name. Do you know them? I don't have that on my notes. What's the name?
They named all of them after Star Trek captains.
Oh my gosh, there's a second part that I missed.
You didn't know that?
Oh.
Our guest is contributing to the Trek. I love this.
Okay, do you have it?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
They are
7 new frogs.
So it's the species of frogs is called a bufus, which already sounds like Star Trek.
I do like that.
And yeah, so they have named them after, oh my goodness, all these pop-ups. Kirkus? Bufus Kirkus?
Bufus Kirkus.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. 1 second. Sorry. I know one of them is Bufus Kirkus. I'm just going to get the rest.
I'm trying to think about how the other ones would come out.
So Bufus is spelled Boophis.
Okay.
And they're in Madagascar, as you said.
Janus?
Yeah, no, it's Janeway.
Full.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I had this like right.
No, you're fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's just me like muddling through.
Trying to think of how it would work, right?
I keep thinking of the actors' names.
Yeah, let's see.
I want to say Brooks's, but that's wrong.
Yeah, they included
Siskois.
Burnham.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did, and Cisco's in there. Why is?
Okay. I found it.
Did you find it? Kirky, and Picardy.
Siskois. Janeway. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that.
It's an I. I sound.
I.
Yeah.
There it is. Janeway I.
Bufus Picardy. That's my favorite.
Bufus Picardy.
Yeah, that's it.
Bufus Archery.
Like alcohol, doesn't it? Picardy.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Bufus Pikeeye and Bufus Burnhami.
And Archery is in there too, right?
Archery. Yep. Archery. Yep.
There's 7.
God,
So, yeah.
That's so cool. I can't believe I missed that second part. That's so cool. I love
it.
this.
And then one of my coworkers, who's just as much a Star Trek fan, she came in to let me know about that in my classroom. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And yeah.
You should bring this up in your classroom.
I actually did. I have a student who is from Madagascar, so I brought it up to her. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's so many things to tie together.
I know, right? The world.
Awesome.
So that was our Trek check for the day.
Computer, status report. What the hell was that?
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. We are discussing 2 episodes of The Next Generation. Surprise. We're doing season 1, episode 15, which is, I'm going to have to read it here because it's numbers. It's 11001001. And season 4, episode 8, Future Imperfect. The first one is about the Enterprise docks at Starbase for repairs, where it is commandeered by a race of technologically linked aliens intent on using the vessel for their own purposes. And Future Imperfect is when Riker awakens 16 years after an away mission, where he contracted a disease which destroyed his memory back to the point of infection, or so he's told. Dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm. 2 I honestly thought kind of banger episodes. The Binar one, the first one, is one that I remember sticking with me as a kid for some reason. I don't know why, but I really liked it. But Diana, since you kind of brought these ones to us, do you want to share just like your general thoughts on the episodes themselves?
Sure. Yeah. The Binary episode was fascinating for the fact that it was kind of a comedy of errors in a weird way, where the Binaries had a plan, and everything the Enterprise did screwed with that plan.
Yeah.
And so which you take a binary based species and make them improvise, you get some interesting results. So yeah, and of course the introduction of Minuet is there. Oh, and Data painting. I had actually forgotten that part of it. Data exploring his creativity, and Riker making a joke about a blind man teaching an android how to paint.
Oh yeah, you cringed. We both.
Yeah,
cringed.
it's cringy. It was cringy.
That was rough.
Yeah, it was a cringy.
Yeah.
It was a very babyface Riker kind of thing to say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like you kind of were talking about combining like technology and kind of humans or organics. Never mind.
I don't remember.
You related it kind of to the other plots of the story when we had a brief discussion afterwards, but
what did I say? Was it clever?
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope it comes back to me. Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean, but then like Binar's improvising to make things work, and Data trying to explore his creativity and wait for inspiration. Those lines were all, just fascinating, right? And then I thought also Picard wandering into someone else's holodeck adventure was also it was very season 1.
Oh yeah.
It was very season 1, and yeah. And then the other episode, I didn't take the time to rewatch it, but I remember the episode sticking with me because of the aliens' just desperate need to be cared for. Because they could have cast themselves as any person in relation to Riker, but they chose to cast themselves as his child. And I thought that was something that was really deep. That was it taps into that universal quote unquote humanity that need to belong.
Yeah, well said.
Well said indeed, yeah. What did you think, Nicole?
It's so interesting, like the thread line between these two episodes. I think I only remembered the Binar really from that episode. I also had forgotten about Data painting, and I'd also forgotten about the whole Minuet thing. I think maybe I just sort of block out Babyface Riker in season 1 time a little bit, maybe. But like, God, we could do an entire episode or like multiple episodes about like the holodeck's kind of role in relationships and things like that.
Romance.
Romance particularly, and kind of weird boundaries and weird things. It's like, I'm always surprised looking back when we rewatch episodes, how many times like the holodeck ends up being kind of a part of these, of these experiences. Anyway, that being said, and I guess that kind of ties into like the future Imperfect, where, kind of like what is reality, and then like kind of like in that one, like it's like Riker's sort of he's essentially being tricked by this other being, even though it's not from like a nefarious cause or reason. And the same thing with the Binar. I mean, like they sort of I guess I was thinking that like Riker was trying to trick himself that Minuet was real in that one, which is kind of true. But then the Binar had kind of, set that up to distract him in the first place. So clearly my thoughts were a little bit scattered, but I'm trying to put two and two things together.
He also plays the trombone in both episodes.
Yes.
He does, yeah.
And he doesn't do that like necessarily a lot. So that was like a standout kind of like thing that happened in both of them. But overall, yeah, they're pretty good Riker episodes overall. I mean, the Binar one is, I don't know, it's not Riker's finest moment, but it just introduces us, I think, to that, like, okay, like when especially now that we've got like AI advancing so much these days, it's really interesting to look back on these episodes now and I don't know, we're probably not too far away from like people being able to sort of create like I don't know, like a partner of sorts through AI. I mean, probably pretty far off, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just feel like every year, I feel like we get closer to something like that.
Well, I mean, he even says it in the episode too. Like Riker says, I think almost verbatim, like I feel like I could have a relationship with her. And he almost like I almost feel like he is going back to the holodeck in the end after the episode's resolved to maybe even possibly pursue that in some regard, because he keeps trying to recreate the program.
Right, and then he's disappointed.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's a lot of implications there that I'm sure. Yeah, they had to wrap up the episode.
Yeah, the writers were like, we're just not going to go there. Like she's gone.
But it's fascinating. I don't know.
The holodecks used multiple times in Next Gen for flash in the pan experiences.
Yeah.
So Barclay becoming smarter than God, they're very specific things. Even Moriarty's existence on the holodeck. It's they don't recreate another Moriarty. I mean, you'd hope they'd learn from it, but they don't ever have that happen again. He's singular. And Minuet was singular even for that moment in time. She had no longevity, except in Riker's mind, which is why we are discussing the second episode as well. And the fact that the alien in Future Imperfect was drawing from Riker's emotional memories, and Minuet had stuck so hard, like had struck him so deeply. And you're right, he does say, I think I could fall in love with her. She's tied into my subconscious. She knows what I'm going to say before I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all of those things, like this is someone so in tune with you, more in tune than any real life separate entity could ever be. I mean, except that the Binars are that in tune with each other. So that there's the parallel.
That is, yeah, I was just thinking that too. That is an interesting parallel, like the duality there, the Binar. I was you're bringing up of like Moriarty too is kind of interesting, because I think that this was a pre Moriarty episode. Like
definitely
the first instance of really that like almost self aware like hologram character, right? Yeah.
So she's self aware, predates. She recognizes she's been programmed by the Binar to resist the programming of or the requests of Riker and Picard.
Yes.
Because her central purpose is to make sure the Binars succeed.
Yeah, exactly. So what we were trying to kind of wondering too, like, so once the Binar, like the episode wraps up and Riker cannot recreate the Minuet program as it was before, is it due to the fact that it was the Binar's programming and that we just don't have that level of like knowledge to make it work? Or at first, like we were trying to, because I couldn't remember the ending when I was rewatching this, like how it all wrapped up. Both of us kind of speculated like, oh, is she a manifestation of all the data they were trying to store in some regard? And
that was my guess.
When it was sent back to the planet, like then therefore she no longer exists. Like, so I thought there was more to it, but it was left way more open ended.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It was the Binar's effect because it was the planet's database.
Yeah.
And they explain at the very beginning that the Binars are so connected to their planet, the planet's consciousness, that they're as one. And then they discuss the matched pairs, how they're so connected. So they basically created a Binar partner for Riker.
Yeah.
On the holodeck.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way.
How she was able to intuit everything, because he's not Binar, obviously, but how she was that must be something with technobabble within the Binar programming that they're able to assess and intuit subconscious thoughts or whichever.
Was it just for Riker though, because like when Picard does come in, like again, like they both remark in the dialogue in the episode, like how she was able to like pick up on like what would be intriguing to Picard, like speaking French and being able to like relate to things that are interesting to Picard, like within the first few seconds of meeting him. So, I
Yeah.
mean, he clearly didn't have as strong of an impression on Picard. I mean, I think he was impressed, but like,
Picard was ready to go.
yeah, Picard was ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was like the perfect hostess once Picard walked
Yeah.
in. She was Riker's
Yeah.
other half.
I think there's also an element too that like, perhaps like she was designed to sort of just like pair off, like you said, like pair off, like be the Binar counterpart. But like Riker had already kind of designed so much of that element when he was describing her to the Binars initially of what he was looking for. So like she was intuiting some of Picard, but was also just like innately connected to Riker based on those opening sequences with her.
But Riker's man crush on Picard would have also translated into
It did.
Minuet, into
Yeah.
Minuet's programming.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay.
So-
Yeah. Fair. That's a fair way to look at it. I love that.
Yeah, that was great.
It's interesting how in that one he wants to go back to be immersed, and then season 4
In Future Imperfect.
bearded
Yeah.
Riker that's his clue that something's wrong, where he's like, no, this person actually isn't real, and that means I'm in some sort of illusion, which was a fascinating kind of, because like, I mean, babyface Riker would have been probably wouldn't have questioned it. He would have been like, great, this is great, I'll just hang out here.
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's very interesting to watch these two episodes back to back because so much development does happen between these two stories. But yeah, the character of Riker there are through lines for sure, but
Tromboning.
Tromboning.
Phrasing.
Yes. But there are so many stark differences of like who he is at that point too. It's interesting to see.
I wonder though, like in the little video when he sees Minuet, and there's like she's bringing out the birthday cake, I think, and he realizes, but part of it is like, did the alien create that, or was that something Riker dreamed of?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Like, like if the alien is reading all the, I don't know. Like I said, the system that they're part of. So this in Future Imperfect, like it's like a super advanced holodeck, right? That almost just gives you what you're thinking of. And I don't know. There must have been some sort of direction from the alien to say like manifest this person's stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
We did not get a whole lot of background on like what was happening there. Just that, yeah.
And I feel like, again, I didn't rewatch Future Imperfect before speaking with you today, but I feel like when he realized it was Min, and he realized this was all a trick of some sort, I think he looked kind of sad about it, didn't he? Like he was just like, no, that, and then part of it is the fact that he might have engaged with the idea of being married and having a family and this being his child. And he was sorry to let that go, sorry to rip the mask off that. But also part of it, I think, is just that for 3 seasons, in the back of his mind, he was still in love with this woman he met on the holodeck one time.
Yeah, and that's explicitly stated. They're like, your feelings for her were so intense, like that's why we used it, right? Or that's why it was
interesting
used.
Callback, though.
It is, right?
It's a deep cut for especially like that era of like more
TV
episodic
writing,
storytelling, like to pull from that far back. Yeah, it's cool.
Can you imagine if you just started if you didn't watch TNG from the beginning, and like if you were watching on syndication and they weren't all in order, you would just be like, why does this matter to Riker? I mean, like they explain it in the episode,
They do,
but I feel like it doesn't have the impact unless you can watch them pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
Or you have that good of a memory.
Lower Decks likes to poke fun at those deep cuts, though. Like, you know, whether it's a collector with Picard's flute or with, just like little things. It's like, why does this matter? But it does.
True.
And we love it as fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just interesting to like think about that, like the TV, the writing at that stage of.
It would be curious to go back and look at who the writers on both episodes were. and whether, or the producer of, if
Yeah, if
there's
there's
a
any
through line
connection
there,
there.
if there's someone in the writer's room who said, you know what we should do this season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I bet there was. I'm sure. I mean, I feel like a lot of the writers kind of were at times nerds themselves too. So there's got to have been some
definitely.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
think so?
The other
You
thing
think so?
was McCormick, the actress who played Minuet. I actually realized well after maybe even Star Trek had run, she was a longtime cast member of Law and Order, the original.
Oh, really?
She was Dr. Olivet. She was a recurring psychiatrist that was brought in during the Sam Waterston years over and over again. And so there's something when you go back and watch, and yes, she's, glamorous and sultry and all this is Minuet, but it's still her too. So, which is comforting.
Yeah, she was really good. I think Carolyn McCormick. Yeah, I forgot how big of a part she played in the Binar episode too. I mean, she was such a tiny bit of feature Imperfect, but like the implication of her was such a big part, more than the actual presence of her. But like her presence in the first season episode, I think I had forgotten how much she was in it and how much like interesting stuff she got.
Yeah. Well, I like where they're like, oh, it'd be nice if they left us a note. And it was like, oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
It was good. And the Binar's plight was very loosely described because,
Yeah.
like supernova star or something. But yet it didn't damage. They managed to carry all of that information over to, was it Starbase 79?
Something like that, yeah.
Or 74.
The like the solutions were all really like kind of hand wavy. They're like, oh, you're gonna have to go to court, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think the Binar were really interesting, and I'm
I
like,
do too.
I don't remember. Did they not show up really ever again?
Lower Decks,
Lower Decks,
briefly.
Yes. Okay. Everything shows up in
Everything.
Lower Decks, which
Yeah.
I love. But honestly, they feel like a pre-Borg kind of thought.
Oh, in some sense, yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah, like kind of computer-y connected.
Like
I always thought they were more
like really
munchkins.
high into what was that?
Yeah,
I thought they were always more munchkins.
Oh, well,
Because they're
yeah.
little.
they're little guys. Yeah, I like the design of the look of them too. Like I think the vibe and the design like was sufficiently like alien enough for that, like especially that early in TNG when they
Yeah.
were kind of experimenting with some weird looks there.
Yeah, they
I
kind of
like
look
that.
like, what are those? Is it Telosians from?
Oh yeah, the Telosians.
They
with
kind
the
of
big
are
heads,
channeling
yeah.
the Telosians a
They
little
do.
bit. I guess they were played by like some like petite female actresses or
Oh,
something.
really?
Actors, yeah, that's what I read on like, I think, Memory
They-
Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah. They make an appearance also in Prodigy.
Oh, they do.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Season 2.
How did we forget that?
I did forget that. Yeah.
I think it was a bit like the Galactic Council in Star Wars, though, where
Oh, yeah.
everyone's there, like ET's there. But
Just kind of a background scene. Yeah.
probably, I don't think there was an active Binar presence in the episode, but it would have been seeing everyone who is part of the Federation,
Mhm.
fighting together.
So Lower Decks and Prodigy had small appearance in the Binars, so they are on somebody else's mind other than just us three.
Yeah.
So perhaps we will see more of them.
True.
Yeah.
I like that.
I did want to talk about, I think like some of the stuff that I just generally liked about Future Imperfect. I liked the sort of like double dream, double wake up element where like when he wakes himself up out of the illusion of being 16 years later and he's in the Romulan kind of detention center and that starts to kind of wane a little bit, like, okay, there's some weird elements here, and like that's a second like illusion piece to it. Like I think that those kind of like those mind twisty episodes, like Star Trek TNG, I think even particularly did really well with some of those. Like there's the Remember Me, which was not far before this too.
There's so many of them, and Riker's in quite a few of them. He has a lot of, like, he's kind of like O'Brien and
yeah,
Deep Space Nine, where like he just gets through the ringer like all the time.
Yeah. But I thought that was really fun. The alien that we see in at the end of Future Imperfect, I think the character's name is I have it written down here. What is it? Barash. Yeah, Barash. Like that was like the design was, I think, less like intricate than the Binars because it's on screen for much less time, and you could tell like it probably wouldn't hold up if there was more screen presence there. But I think it was an interesting one. It was like an insectoid design, and like I liked that they were going for a weird alien look at the end there. And that's another character I think like similar to the Binars that I think they brought to the end. Well, in this case, they brought it to the Enterprise, and like, you can leave this planet and we'll find a home for you, find connections for you. And it was kind of never addressed again. And there's potential there. However, I did find that they did bring the character back in the novels. So it's like beta canon a little bit. It was like the TNG novel Losing the Peace, but apparently the Barash character ends up being like a representative from an organization to help like displaced peoples across the like known galaxy, and helping with like alien refugees, which is kind of a cool concept, I thought.
Love it.
Yeah. I thought that was nice. I like to see that in the series in some regard.
I feel like I mentioned to you, reminded me of, was that season 4? Right? The burn season.
Oh yeah, Discovery.
Discovery with the Kelpian.
Oh,
they discover is the source of the burn. Sort of like a it was like my mom left me here to protect me storyline. Yeah.
That's true. There are some parallels between Barash and Su'Kal. I feel like at the time when that happened, that's season 3.
Oh, my bad.
When that happened, I feel like a lot of people are drawing comparisons to like Trelane as being like a child, but I think the Barash analogy is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, just like someone trying to reach out, like they're lonely. And trying to find connection.
And not quite knowing how to do that.
And not knowing how. Yeah.
When what your protection becomes your prison.
And wow.
Exactly.
She said it way better than either of us did. Yeah. This is why we bring guests on.
Yes. That is.
But yeah, no, but I hadn't made that connection to Discovery. But yeah, you have those cases where you do things hoping for the best, thinking it's the best move at the moment, and then years down the line, you're left to be alone, or you've left the person you cared for and were trying to protect ends up being completely isolated. But the discovery of, no pun intended, of the source of the burn was definitely one of those gray areas where something hugely dangerous to the galaxy is just someone trying to reach out, or someone feeling great emotion, or
very Star Trekky.
Yes. Very, very.
That's why we love it.
That magnifying of emotion.
Yeah. A couple other small things I wanted to talk about in that episode. When Riker got the chance to be fake Picard, when he's like, "Shut up," to Picard.
Oh yeah,
it was like a showstop moment. That was fun. I also really kind of dug, in a certain way, the Admiral Picard uniform. His beard look was interesting. I don't know if I love that, but
it's just funny, like what they thought
Patrick Stewart would look like. Years. But the uniform was cool. I thought, like, I liked the longer, like, kind of like the dress uniforms. They loved the sparkly gold at the time for Admiral uniforms, so it was fine. But the only thing I wish it would have had, because it was longer, I wish it would have had like one of those like cool belts, like the maroon ones of the movie era. Like that would have been cool. That's what it needed.
Yeah. In the first season finale of Strange New Worlds, when Pike is confronted by himself in uniform, it is always interesting to see what they think future older, not quite, because it was an alternate timeline. He wasn't in a wheelchair either, so it was it made for some very interesting.
I love that stuff. Yeah, whenever we get like new variant uniforms, like it's so fun to just, even the slight variation on the Future Imperfect ones that were just like the normal TNG uniforms, but the badges were different. The badges showed the rank. Did you notice that? That was cool. So like Riker's badge had 4 things.
Yeah.
Data's had 3, and so like the little like.
Wasn't Deanna wearing a uniform?
She was. Yeah, she was wearing a uniform too.
And think about season 1 and the the like really unforgiving season 1 uniforms.
Oh my
where-
gosh, yeah, the jumpsuits with the
Yeah.
Do you remember the season 1 Admiral uniforms with like the weird like triangle sash thing and it was again gold outlines? Those were something. Oh man.
It was and yeah, watching a season 1 and a season 4 episode is really like a
Yeah.
huge jump in the evolution of a show.
Yeah, but it's really fun though.
And I feel like I'm trying to think. I think Future Imperfect. I mean, we only get we get very brief in the beginning of everybody, other cast members. It's mostly Riker, so like because we had just watched these two back to back, like the differences were striking for Riker and how much more comfortable like Frakes was in the role, and just how comfortable I think the writers were too with like the character. I think I mentioned when we were watching it, it was pretty clear that in the Binar episode with Minuet that they were really going for like Kirk 2.0.
With Picard or with Riker?
With Riker.
With Riker.
With Riker. Okay, because I was noticing in the Binar episode that I love how we just refuse to say the title 10110.
I don't know where the ones and zeros are.
Yeah, that especially at the very first scene, I just remember thinking Picard was being very, very cheerful, and he kept telling everyone what a good job they had done, and I was like, what is going on? And you hear about Picard and how season 1 was behind the scenes, and you wonder if he was just trying to make everyone like him.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of moments where I looked over and I'm like, wow, because like I don't think we've watched first season TNG in a really long time.
There's not a whole lot of reason to revisit it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple highlights, but
and the little neck aliens.
Oh yeah, the bugs, those are cool.
Apparently in the novels they're connected to the Trill. They're actually distantly related to the Trill.
That's a great way to bring them back, actually. I know I feel like everyone draws the parallel with them and Borg, like they like evolved to like the Borg idea of like the hive mind stuff, but I think that the Trill connections, that's really smart. What were you saying about Riker though? Oh yeah, when Riker was like on the holodeck and like he was being very Kirk-like in how he was like kind of like choosing the characteristics of Minuet, right? That's where you know it.
Yeah. It felt very 1960s sensibilities.
Yeah.
Very.
I mean, he was being very gentlemanly, but still like in a 60s male mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was interesting.
I actually looked up the difference between Kansas City jazz and Bourbon Street jazz, because he starts out saying that he wants it in Kansas City, and then he's like, no, New Orleans, Bourbon Street.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was, and then Minuet's line about anything but Dixieland, because you can't dance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the difference? What'd you find out?
There's just a style to it. It's different, but like imagine just the cultural difference between Kansas City and New Orleans.
True.
That's
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was a script writer's choice to add that line. He could have gone straight. Yeah, so
it's a nice touch. I like that. I mean, it shows that he's not just like. I mean, he could just say, "Oh, jazz," but like it digs a little deeper into the character there. I like that.
I also wonder if the Binars programmed his band.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Minuet was obviously the bait, but they pushed him towards her.
They totally did. That's true.
Yeah.
There's another
element to her. Yeah. She's looking at you.
And by the way, don't quit your day job on the trombone.
Yeah.
He's like,
hilarious.
Piano player was not playing the piano, by the way. it was just a
hand wavy.
Yeah.
Holodeck.
Yeah. These were good ones. These were good episodes. Should we do our final rating scale?
Oh man, okay, sure. Yes.
You didn't think about it? Oh wait, okay. I have one more thing that I wanted to bring up too before we go, so you could have some time to think about.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny in Future Imperfect. There was a line at the end that was meant to hit hard, where Riker says to the alien, You'll always be Jean-Luc to me.
Oh yeah, that
And
was.
I know the intent there, but it's just the way it sounds is really funny to me.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice.
Yeah, you'll always be Jean-Luc.
I mean, I guess it's because I don't know, because they're drawing from, or the alien, or Barash was drawing from Riker's memories and emotions and whatever. So like someone he admires a lot,
Man
presumably.
crush, right?
Yeah, like Diana said, man crush. Yeah. Clearly Picard, but yeah, it was hard when not to laugh, like when like they introduced his son as Jean-Luc, and then that line at the end where like the implication, right, is like, well, yeah, like I'll think of you fondly as if you were like, you know, the son I never had, but it comes out as I'll always think of you as Jean-Luc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a funny one.
a little cringy.
Yes.
And then canonically speaking, if that's a word, he and Deanna, mind you, Deanna would never name her son after Jean-Luc. So
Oh, no.
that actually makes a lot of sense now that I say it out loud. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Minuet might have, right?
Minuet might have, but not Deanna. Yeah. So when we in our episodes we do a patented rating scale in which we rate the romance in question. We have 5 levels, and I usually try to send this, but I will always go through it just for our listeners. And if you need a little reminder, Diana, we from bottom to top, we go with red alert, which means the relationship in question was toxic and bad. We have a yellow alert, which is the next level up, meaning it was pretty not great, but better than bottom level. Middle of the road is fascinating. Don't really know if it's great or bad. Interesting to see where it goes. Fully functional, really solid relationship. And then finally, resistance is futile, which is just too hot to handle.
So extreme to extreme.
Exactly. Extreme to extreme. Yeah. But all right, fine. I'm actually just gonna say it. It's red alert. I think it's red alert.
Really? I'm so surprised.
I think I don't know. I might regret myself by what I'm saying here. I think
you came in strong.
I did come in strong, but I think like just the what Riker says in the Binar episode makes it a little bit of a red alert, because he's like, I could fall in love with this person. And I think like the implications that you kind of talked about of like where AI is going and like what that means, I don't know. And like, is that a relationship sustainable? Now I'm even double questioning or second guessing my own self, because of like, we have the Doctor as a character who's proving that like holograms can become sentient. And so maybe that's me projecting some sort of like bias against a different kind of life form that I'm not sure. So maybe I'm regretting my choice already. But I was just thinking like, it did seem like an unsustainable relationship. And I think his feelings were like the way that she was designed to sort of like match wits with him and like anticipate him was a little bit like
perfect woman,
like entrapment in a sense. Like, I don't know. Is that the right word? Entrapment? I don't know what that means actually. Like trying to ensnaring, right?
Well, yeah.
Like they're trying to keep him there. So there was like ulterior motives in that and all that. So like, I guess like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like, I don't know if the feelings necessarily were truly reciprocated. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
It does. It's fine. You can have a red alert rating,
I guess. But now I'm second guessing it because I'm thinking of the Doctor, and like the Doctor would be offended. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll say yellow alert. It's a red yellow alert.
Orange.
Not to say that's a bad episode. It's fast. It's interesting to watch. But if Riker was to come to me and say, "Should I pursue this?" I would say, "No, man. I don't think you should."
Do you have any thoughts, Diana?
I'm looking at your descriptions of them. I would have gone yellow.
Yellow alert.
I'd go yellow alert. Like it's not a sustainable relationship. She's very obviously programmed and fake, and Lower Decks discusses how the holodecks are used and what they have to, what was required to clean afterwards. So the fact that Riker could go in and essentially write his own porn was not a good look, honestly. And again, picking and choosing the visual, and then and being very picky about it, I might add. And then the Bynars setting it up so that she became so ideal and potentially was like tapping into his subconscious somehow to feel like his other half. All of that, it's manipulated, and as much as it's manipulated, the Barash
Barash, yeah.
manipulates him in Future Imperfect. It's not real, and so but what I love, again, I think I mentioned this in my email, is that he fell in love with an idea. He fell in love with maybe with the idea there was someone that perfect out there for him, and hung on to it so that they could revisit later on with authenticity. That he emotionally was so connected to this, again, flash in the pan, one time singularity, that they could read his emotional memory and go, oh, well, she would be the ideal wife. Perhaps he's already built a future life subconsciously with her because she was so perfect for him. Yeah, so yellow alert for me.
Very well said.
Dana's answer just made me think that it's sort of interesting that, I mean, I guess the idea is in that fantasy that Barash has created that the wife has passed away, so that way all of his attention would be on the son, who Barash is essentially playing in this weird, made-up fake story that he's made up for Riker. But because I was like, oh, then why even have a mom? But anyway, never mind.
Oh, because the emotion would transfer to the child.
Yeah.
Because if he had someone like Minuet in his life that he cared for so deeply, and they had a child, then he would always be taking care of that child as Minuet's child, even if he had no memory of being its father.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it provides the connection Barash needed to be taken care of. And
if he'd manifested Minuet for some reason, and they were all there for what, then there would have been, he probably would have been more interested in Minuet
divided
than
attention.
or divided attention. That's more so what I mean.
Yeah. So anyway, having a dead but loved previous spouse. Yeah. That, I think that would be, that's a logical conclusion on why Barash chose that route and and ruse.
It's pretty well thought out.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, he was a pretty smart alien.
Yeah.
Although still a kid, I guess, because he made some small slip-ups.
Rookie moves.
Riker saw through. Is it just that Barash is a little bit sloppy because he's a kid, or is Riker really that astute?
Yeah. Good question.
I think that's a thinker.
Yeah.
I love how there's no clear answer there, actually. I think I'm going to go fascinating.
Fascinating.
I mean, I don't think it, obviously isn't going to go anywhere, but I think that it opens up kind of this, interesting conversation, with, I mean, because I keep thinking, and now I want to do the episode with Janeway and her hollow hubby guy.
The Irish guy.
Yeah, the bar owner. Delete the wife.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like she has some interesting. Well, because she has the doctor there too, right? And I feel like they have some. I feel like it's an interesting conversation that they haven't. I know it's not related to these episodes at all, but I think I had that in my mind, where it's
holodeck spouses. We're okay. We're related.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess and I don't know. I think because we don't know, I know both of you kind of went through in your answers, with Minuet being created, but to some extent, if, as we're sort of surmising, the Bynar's sort of planet consciousness thing is, or data, or that, is eventually the data of their planet's consciousness is if it's being stored in the computer and that's part of what has created Minuet, is there a somewhat of a sentience similar to Moriarty, or even the doctor, as far as sort of being not just programmed? I mean, maybe like created, but then does she maybe have sort of some of her own
Agency.
consciousness that she's, because they talk about how adaptable she is, and being able to converse and not just being like an output from an input, sort of like being able to hold a conversation and take it places, I guess. And I don't know. So, I mean, I'm not saying like he should have stayed on the holodeck and like, married Minuet and lived in a fantasy world or anything. But I think ultimately it was just fascinating, I suppose.
What
I don't know.
I would be curious about is if the Minuet program was developed because of the Binar data in the system, and then it was transferred back to the planet. If her program still exists in the Binar consciousness,
Yeah, it's kind of like what I'm wondering.
right? Because she would have imprinted on who she was supposed to, whatever. And if she developed that personality, and then, and then you take it a step further, and within there, did she create her Binar partner back on Binar? And did he look like Riker?
I don't know.
Gotta wonder.
Yeah. Possibilities are endless.
So, I mean, maybe that's like, yeah, right. So this is why it's fascinating, because like in that scenario, I mean, she could make her own hollow Riker and they could essentially, and then they could just be a little binary pair.
Well, Moriarty made his partner too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they went off
There you go.
on their adventures.
So I don't know.
I
mean, I just don't, I mean, like, even though I guess you maybe took it to the extreme with like Red Alert. I know you tried to walk that back a little bit at the end.
Regretted it instantly.
I because like I see what you're saying, where like there were she kind of represents a red flag, but like I feel like she wasn't necessarily like, I don't know. When I think of toxic relationship, I'm thinking like, I guess she was trying to keep him there. I don't know. Maybe Yellow Alert was most appropriate, but I felt it was fascinating.
Disagreement is good, though. I feel like we often agree a lot on our things, so when we have a different one, it's
I enjoyed disagreeing. Yeah.
There, like with this relationship, there's an obvious power differential as being like real and holodeck, right? So, and then if you're going back to Janeway and her Irish guy, I would go forward to Prodigy, Chakotay, and his holo Janeway.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which is messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot to unpack.
Right. So having those holodeck representations of real people is always going to be an issue, because like Chakotay was able to reprogram her. And although she was hurt because she was sentient, it was done to her. That's a violation. And
Definitely.
so messed up. Right. Yeah. And so like so if Riker had program Minuet, and then if we saw him go, and she like picks out a cigarette and he's like, oh no, she doesn't smoke, like then we're seeing the level of power.
True.
In that situation, they aren't equal in agency. He treated her though in the episode, as someone he was picking up in a Bourbon Street bar. Like he really was just finding out what she liked, and she was reflecting back everything he wanted her to like.
He does ask her, doesn't he? Like he's not just like, let me talk about myself and like keep, I don't know.
He asked her if she likes jazz. He asked she gave him an answer. So
kind of kudos to Riker. I mean, as like kind of cringy as he was back then, at least he was like, I'm gonna have
a conversation.
Yeah, and like to ask like a hologram program what she's interested in, right? I mean, like kind of what you're saying, Diana, like he was treating her like a person.
It was the role play. It was the role play of the night.
Yeah.
The lesson we take from this is you don't leave the higher ups alone on the ship. Everyone left, and he was running around like, Wesley, watch the binars. I'm going to check out the Bourbon Street scene.
Yeah. I had a lot of questions about that whole thing. I actually, was it that admiral, right? Or no, was it another captain?
No,
he
was like a
weird.
commander. Yeah. He looked like future Picard in Future Future Imperfect
Sort of.
with his beard. Yeah,
Kind of. It was a more...
Quantis or Quantico or something. Not Quantico. Yeah, I remember his name, but yeah.
I for some reason thought he was like in on it because he was acting a little bit shady.
I bet you in one revision of the script he was, because there was a lot in there that didn't seem quite right.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was, and yeah, no, he was super weird. Like right from the beginning, he was like all about the Binars. They fixed our ship. It's awesome. You should let them do anything they want to yours. I was just seeing if I could find the name of the actor because he looked really familiar when I watched him too.
Yeah, he did.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's been in other Trek episodes, actually.
They do recur, don't they, when there's makeup involved?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes I'm so surprised to like go back and, now that we've watched, we're quote caught up like on Trek Hub, like we watch something and I'm like, oh, wait, that person was in all these other episodes and like would have had no idea.
Quinteros.
Eugene Dynarski is the actor.
Yeah.
Quinteros,
not Quantico.
Not Quantico.
Close though. I can see it.
He was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I think you got to go to Memory Alpha.
True, yeah. He was one of 32 actors to have guest starred in both the original Star Trek television series. He was in Mud's Women and the Mark of Gideon, and one of the the series spin-offs in TNG.
Oh, so he was in other Star Trek.
He was in other Star Trek. Wow, good clock.
Yeah. He totally looked familiar. So.
Yeah.
Mud's Women and the Mark of Gideon.
That's a fun stat, though, being TOS and TNG. Like Pulaski.
Yes.
It all comes back.
And I mean Loaxanas and
yeah.
We didn't talk about that. The voice in the Binar episode of the computer changes 3 times.
That's true. Yeah, there's like a male voice, right?
Yeah, and I thought at first it was the Binar programming, but there's 2 separate male voices.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Well, because I was focusing on it because I mean Loaxana, she will always be the Enterprise computer. So when the Enterprise starts talking and it's not her, it's
jarring.
like, wait, it's
I was
jarring.
like, not interested in this, but
yeah, that was strange. Yeah, I wonder if they're just trying something and didn't stick.
And no one really explained it. There was like, I looked it up at one point, and I think on Reddit they were discussing maybe it was like engineering had its own voice, and then one of them was maybe was the computer of the starbase, but none of that was consistent, and so for some reason, and they're listed as computer, the voices. So super weird.
Pick up on that, but it was weird and not really explained in or out of the context of the show.
Chalk it up to a weird first season thing that we just kind of forget as it goes on.
Yeah.
I am not seeing any writers in common or directors in common, so I guess it was just some very geeky Minuet lover in the Future Imperfect writers' room that said we should do it this way.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it ends up turning out to be like the key to like Riker being like something like this, right? Because I mean, like that's otherwise he wouldn't have picked up on the fantasy.
I did see
from a writing perspective.
Future Imperfect was a spec script, so like a script submission though. So it probably was like a fan who was like, "Oh, let's bring this back somehow."
Oh, fun!
Yeah,
fun. So fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Well, I suppose we should wrap things up. But this was a really, really fun discussion. Like again, like I did not even think about Riker Minuet when we've been like thinking of podcast topics for this. But this was a deep cut. I loved it. Really good one.
I think Riker and Deanna just gets done so much. And they're foundational, but it's like
there's a lot there too.
Yeah, they have other relationships.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Before we do close out, I wanted to give you, Diana, a chance to like plug anything that you're working. I know you're working with Geek Girl Authority. I think you've done like some Snowpiercer interviews. It looked like, which seems pretty cool. Yeah. Is there any like upcoming things you got that you want to plug, or anything like in the backlog that you think our listeners should go find?
Well, this month I'm covering for Geek Girl Arcane Season 2. So that's the animated series based on League of Legends. And you can find, again, my articles on Season 1 over at TV Fanatics Archives. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Season 1 just came out of nowhere and smacked everyone upside the head because League of Legends has a notoriously toxic fan base. But what they produced... what Netflix and Fortiche Animation produced is a stunning work of animation. It won accolades up, down, sideways, everywhere in the year that it was released. And then it's been 3 years. It took 6 years for them to make season 1.
Wow.
And 3 years to make season 2, having set up the animation. They tie in sort of a music and video game aspect, obviously, and then they're playing with a canon that hundreds of millions of people are familiar with. But the storytelling is just incredibly deep and emotional and visually spectacular. So I'm having a lot of fun. My review goes up at midnight tonight. Recaps will follow. I did get to interview Christian Link, who is the one of the co-creators. And so that interview is already live on Geek Girl Authority. And then there's also a interview coming up with Jessica Lord, who is a fresh face, lovely Lady. And she's starring in something called Christmas in the Spotlight for Lifetime TV. And it is based on Taylor Swift and is it Tyler Kelsey?
Travis Kelsey, I think.
Travis, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very like inspired by the idea of a pop star and a football player. I watched the movie actually. It's very cute, very sweet, heartfelt. Not super diverse, but it's, it's very, very, very lovely. It's exactly what it sets out to be. And the other thing I am covering is Cross. So that's a Prime Video series based on James Patterson's Cross, Alex Cross character. Is it Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, right?
So in the past, he's been played by like Morgan Freeman and Kiss the Girls, the movie.
Yeah, the detective ones, right?
Yeah.
I remember we used to watch that. Ashley Judd was in that.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've screened the first couple episodes of that one. It's a full season drop. Next week, I think. So and I got to get writing. It's, oh my gosh, it's the actor playing Cross this time. He was the original cast of Leverage. He was Hardigan. Oh goodness, Hardison, and the actor is Aldous Hodge, and he's been in a bunch of stuff recently. It's like his stars on the rise.
He was in was some of the DC superheroes too, right?
Black Adam.
Yeah, he was in Black Adam. That's right. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, and he's fabulous. He's bulked up since the days of Leverage, but I loved him in Leverage too because he was the gamer geek on the team. Leverage.
Yeah, and Star Trek too. He was in Calypso, right?
He was. That's
right.
He was Kraft.
Yeah.
He was Kraft. He's who the Enterprise falls in love with.
That's right.
Not the Enterprise. The Discovery.
Yeah.
He's Zora's. He's Zora's.
Yeah. Everything comes back to Star Trek. Yeah.
Everything comes.
It does. Oh my gosh! I haven't even made that connection. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. He's Kraft. Because also, and I feel like Kraft and Book are meant to be connected somehow. I don't know.
You kind of see that.
Yeah, over time.
Similar vibes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But, so anyways, I'm doing a lot of writing this month. I sort of eased off last month, but this in November is a big one. So I'm not the Trek person at Geek Girl Authority. You should definitely watch our coverage though. It's thorough. It's
cool.
Thorough.
Well, I'll definitely link to it all and link to your pages and everything in our notes as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. And if you guys have an opening in your schedule like later on or in the new year, let me know and we can have a quick talk about Mariner and Jen or something.
Oh, yes.
We love returning guests for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's yours when we do it.
Fantastic. All right.
Thank you again for joining us. And thank you everyone at home for joining us. We don't ask for a whole lot. We just do this for fun. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't do the socials. What are the socials again?
DS Love Pod.
On Instagram.
And Threads and Blue Sky.
Yes. and then rate and review. Thank you. And until next time, everybody, love long and prosper.